Ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, you are going to hear opinions, and while the podcast is endorsed by Uriah Heep, the opinions of the host and various guests do not necessarily represent the opinions of the band or any of the members past or present. With that being said, let's celebrate the music of Uriah Heep. Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I have got such a killer song for you guys today, and I know that word is kind of ironic because the title of the song is I'm Alive, but this is such a powerful and fantastic rock and roll track. I cannot wait to dig into it, so we're going to go straight to the song right now. Here it is, I'm Alive by Uriah Heep from the album Fallen Angel. Just right off the bat, this song is all business, no bullshit. We're just going to dig in and set the world on fire, and I love it. Lee Kerslake is playing some fantastic stuff, especially as you heard in that fill right there, just very tight, very well played. I love that kind of roll where you're not actually doing a buzz roll on a snare, but you're just hitting it so quickly that it almost sounds like a buzz roll, even though it's not. Great, powerful riff coming in right off the bat, just jumps in, smacks you in the face, and drags you along. And I love that kind of rock and roll, especially, kind of coming off the last couple songs that we have. It's good to have something that is a little more hardcore, and we'll just have to see where it goes. Okay, I'm going to continue with talking about Lee Kerslake here. He is just on fire. We're 27 seconds into the song, and the man is just on it. And then what a great riff that is. It's one of those riffs that just goes to show how much beauty you can find in simplicity, right? It's not a complicated riff. It's not a particularly fast riff, even going over that the backdrop of music here. But it just sounds and feels so good. You feel like it's more of a journey. And I really like that. Love the double time on the hi-hats. I think this is a great bass drum riff. I think also what Trevor Boulder is playing on bass is fantastic. I'm not sure what Ken is doing, if he's playing a second guitar or if there's an organ in the background. I can't quite hear. The hi-hats are drowning things out just a little bit. But that's okay, because in a song like this, it really helps kind of push the song through if that's what the hats are going to do. So really powerful and killer so far. I said killer again. Okay, I'm definitely hearing two guitars. There is a guitar in the left and a guitar in the right. I think it could just be the sound of the guitars together, but I think there is an organ playing in the background through all of that. It just sounds like one solid chord. I may be wrong. It may be the blend of other sounds, but it sounds like there is an organ there in the back of it. Love what Trevor Boulder is playing through this. The drums have backed off a little bit, but kept that power, which I really like. And there's at least two vocal tracks going, if not three, but definitely at least two. It's thickened up through the whole thing, but it sounds really good. I like when John Lawton doubles his voice like that, because it just it adds another element of the vocal sound that I really like, and he's very good at overdubbing himself. So really strong performance so far in the song. Absolutely loving those drum fills. That section, that's one of the most powerful things I've heard the band do. You know, we're on the 12th album now, and this is just so kick-ass. I really love it. Very powerful, but it's also melodic at the same time, which I really like. It's not just, you know, low and heavy guitar distortion. It really has a feeling on top of being, you know, so well-paced. Very cool. And I love that end of the chorus there, the way that John Lawton sang that, and you've got a couple extra vocal tracks in there. Really nice stuff. Really nice.
There's been so much bad time wasted. Just look and you'll see. We got so much going for us. It's not just a dream. Let's look and we'll find the answers to questions I made. We'll reach out for new beginnings that might show the way.
You know, what really stands out to me through the verses is the placement of the vocals as well as the pitches that he chose. It just feels good. It feels right. And that double vocal especially plays so well into that. I love the pitching. I love the placement. Really intriguing vocals. It's very typical with Heep. The chords that they choose, the progressions are always so interesting, and that's definitely the case here. Love that little run on the bass there at the end of that part. But the whole thing just sounds so good. And again, you know, I don't think that this would have been as good of a song with just a single vocal track. I think doubling it really helped here. And just so powerful, the sound overall, especially in the guitars, bass is grooving along. Just a great rock and roll song. And I'm glad we heard the beginning of a guitar solo here, because I can honestly say I was just thinking that this song is just screaming for a guitar solo, and I'm really glad we're about to get one. So let's hear it. So it goes back into that same part that we've heard again. I was actually really expecting, you know, kind of a crazy solo through that, but it definitely, you know, carries the song well, what they chose to do here. It does sound good. I love that guitar riff. I also noticed too that during the song, Lee Kerslake is not playing a lot of fills, a lot of places. He's really letting the crashes do the work. And that really makes the fills that he does play stand out even more, especially because they're very intricate and energetic. But yeah, just a very solid performance here. Everybody feels so tight and working together. It really feels like a cohesive unit right now. I always find concert endings on an album to be very interesting. And it seems to me that we had one recently. I can't think of which song it was, but it seems like we had one. It might have been this album, or maybe it was the end of Innocent Victim. But in any case, yeah, it's always interesting when they do that on an album. And I really feel like the last maybe 30 to 45 seconds of the song, could have been cut out because it was just pretty much repetitive. Even the drum fills were starting to get a little bit repetitive. And it was really cool up to that point. I was really digging the song. So I think if they would have cut some of that out, it probably would have worked better for me. The concert ending's okay. It's not bad to have, but it's also not the last song on the album. There's actually one more on the proper album that we have to cover. So again, it's kind of like, if it would have ended the album, I think a concert ending would have worked better. But here's the thing. When you're writing the songs and when you're recording them, you don't necessarily know what order they're going to go in. I mean, you can make suggestions, and at the end, the producer or the record company can come and go, yeah, you know what? That's not the order. We're changing it. So it could have been intended that this would be the last song on the album, and then somebody else came along and changed it. I don't know. That's certainly not only possible, I would say it's likely, but I would say that this would have been a great album ender. With all that energy and everything, it would have made me want to start the album over again. Now, I have not heard the song Fallen Angel, so that may well make me feel the same way, and we'll find out when we get to that song on Thursday. But for now, I can say this is a good song. This would be a great one to put on kind of first thing in the morning when you're groggy and you're sipping your first cup of coffee, or you're getting ready to do your workout or whatever it is. This song will just get you pumped right up for the day. And the thought of, kind of celebrating just being alive and having that gratitude and appreciating that can kind of play into your head with some subtext very easily and can really help with that workout. So however you want to listen to it, obviously is great as long as you listen to it, because it is a spectacular song. But I think it's a great way to start the day and just get things going. So thank you guys for joining me for another episode. We will see you in a couple of days as we continue on. Now, Thursday will be the last proper song on the Fallen Angel album. And then we've got a couple of bonus tracks to cover before we're done with the season. This has just seemed to fly by so quickly because the songs are just so good. And, there is a little bit of sadness that we're kind of, ending the Lawton era. Or are we? We'll see you guys on Thursday. Take care. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!